Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your channel of Math and Engineering Made Easy. In today's session, we are talking again in engineering statics. And if you remember, we refer to forces as vectors, and we were able to uh, find the vector, like a force in 3D. And we mentioned two ways to do that. We mentioned if you know the like 2 points along the line of action of the force, you could find the vector, the force vector, uh, in that way. Or if you know the directional cosines, remember we said that any line in space makes three angles with the x, y, and z. We call them alpha, beta, gamma, for example, such that the sum square of the cosine of these angles add up to 1. So that's another way you can give me the angles that the line makes with the x, y, and z axes respectively, and I can find the force in vector form. One more that I've seen many books use is the spherical coordinates. So let's look at that. Let's look at how we can find a force in vector form if we are given um, its coordinates, its spherical coordinates. Wanted to get a pencil. It's better to draw. Okay, so I'm going to draw the three coordinate axes. Um, okay, we can make it. Or some people prefer. Let me do it the way I usually do it. So we'll have an x axis, a y axis, and a z axis. As long as the right-hand rule applies, then you can use these three coordinate axes. Remember, we said if you have at the origin here a bottle cap or a nut, and then you rotate it counterclockwise from the x to the y, you see that it moves up along the z, so that is a right-hand rule. It's the same thing that they tell you, put your hands, put your hand on the x-axis, curl your fingers towards the y, your thumb would be pointing to the z, but I prefer to think of something we use every day, like a bottle cap or a nut and a wrench. Anyway, so let's take an easy case where I'm going to draw a line in space from the origin. It doesn't have to be from the origin, by the way. You can move it to the origin if it's not. And let's say, okay, let's say here is the line that represents the force. And this force, just for simplicity, let's say it's 1,000 Newton. Then they give you three things, okay? Uh, they give you the length here. So let's make the length anything. We'll talk about that. We don't even need this. I will discuss that in a second. Okay, so, and also this. So what you are given is basically here you have a force of magnitude 1,000 Newton. And you have the angle between this line in space and the z-axis. We're going to call that phi, or the polar angle. And then you project this force onto the XY axis, it would give you an angle here, the azimuthal angle that we've used in 2D, which is theta. Some people, you know, reverse and call this theta and this is phi, but I prefer to use the same way we treated forces in 2D. And we are going to refer to that as R, like we had before when it was a two-dimension. That was the radius, or R, and R cosine theta would give me X, R sine theta would give me Y. So it's the same idea. The only thing is that how do I find R? Now you can see that this angle is 90 degrees, right? This line is a projection onto the XY plane. So it's parallel to the Z. So it must be perpendicular to the XY plane, meaning perpendicular to all lines in that plane, including R. So you can see, I know that it doesn't look like 90 degrees because we are plotting a 3D shape on a 2D paper. But you have to convince yourself that this is a right triangle and the force here is the hypotenuse. Okay? So if this angle is phi, it means that angle also is phi, right? Because these two lines are parallels and these are alternate internal angles. They must be congruent, right? So in this triangle, if I multiply the force by cosine of phi, remember we said when you multiply by cosine, you are projecting onto a line. If the angle between the vertical and the incline is phi, then f cosine phi would give me the opposite, I'm sorry, the adjacent to the phi. So which this value is f sub z. This value would be f sub y, and this value would be f sub x, which is the same as that. Okay. So now in this right triangle, in triangle, let's call that AB, OAB, AB represents the force in the z direction. And this force equals the total force times cosine of phi. Now, OB is the projection, right? So OB here is the force times the sine of this angle, because it's the opposite to the angle, right? So this is F sub R. This is the projection. Now I move the problem from being in 3D to make it a 2D problem. And that would be F sine phi. And finally, now I treat F sub R, let's call it F sub R, as a 2D problem. The angle between FR and the x-axis is theta. So F sub x is FR cosine theta, because it's the adjacent to it, which can be written as F sine phi cosine theta. Likewise, F sub y is FR sine theta, which can be written as F sine phi sine theta. So here is Fx, Fy, and Fz. If we take a very simple example, we said the force here is 1,000 Newton. Let's say this angle phi is whatever, 45 degrees, and theta is 30 degrees. Or any other angle, it's just. So substituting here, the easiest one to find is always going to be F sub z. And this is F cos phi equals 1,000 cos 45 degrees, which is root 2 over 2, equals 500 root 2 Newton. Or if you want to use a calculator, you get 707.1, 707 to, closest integer, Newton. Then f sub r is the same as f sub z, right? Because sine 45 and cosine 45 are the same. So it's 500 root 2 Newton. You can get f sub x and f sub y. Since you already have fr, all what you have to do is to say this is fr cos 30 and fr sine 30, which is 1/2. So Fy is easy, is half of that. So it's 250 root 2 Newton. And this is 250. Notice, root 2 cosine. So let's write it. Let's write it. Fr is 500. It's better to write it like that. And then you multiply by root 3 over 2. So you get 250 root 6 Newton. Of course, you can evaluate these two. So you can say, oops, I'm sorry. 250 square root of 6 is 612.4. And this would be half of that. So 353.5 roughly. Okay. 250 root 2. 353.6 Newton. And finally, now we can notice you don't need to memorize these. Once you draw the triangle, you can do it in something like that in space, and you can see right away that you have a right triangle, and this is the hypotenuse, and you can easily find Fz and then project Fr, find Fx and Fy, and then you write the force in vector form as Fx, which is 612.4 I, plus, notice we are in the first octant, x is positive, y is positive, z is positive, so everything is positive, but it doesn't matter. If you give me the angle that it makes with the z-axis, if it was obtuse, it means we are in the lower 4 octants and the z would be negative. And likewise, if you give me theta as obtuse, then the x would be negative and y would be positive. Or if it's in the third quadrant or third and what? Seventh octants, then both would be negative. So really, it's just a matter of finding out, substituting in these forms. You don't need to memorize them, but you have to better to visualize these and be able to write it as uh, sines and cosines plus 707 k newtons, and that's it. So that is called this. These are called the spherical coordinates. There's also the cylindrical coordinate, but it's pretty much the same. It's um, uh, you can use this similar approach. In fact, it's even easier. But I hope if you find this easy to understand. If you have any questions, as usual, please drop me a note or a comment in the comment section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, I wish you all the best and hope to see you soon. Bye.